Hey, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 mod Throwback. That's right, it's Thursday, which means it is Throwback Thursday, and we are checking out an older mod that maybe needs some attention and a little refresher for the people who maybe forgot about it. So today, we're checking out a really fun one, and that is the Cross Fireworks Cannon by Nero. This is quite an old mod. The last update it received was in 2017. However, it's still a really cool weapon mod, and one that I think everybody should check out if they haven't before, because there's some really cool customization options in this one. So for our regular version of the Fireworks Launcher here, it actually doesn't shoot fireworks the way that you'd think. Well, it does, but they explode and worked more like a missile launcher, at least in its traditional format. So let's go ahead and shoot this thing at the wall and just kind of give you an idea of how this thing functions. So, it does fire like a firework in that it's very sporadic and moves crazily and makes that interesting little whistle noise, but it explodes more like a missile launcher. So, definitely unique in the way that it fires, and it also comes with a custom reload animation. And that reload also works in third person. Now, the alignment of where you grab the missiles is a little bit funky, but besides that, the animation is really cool, and I like it a lot. As for the stats of the base version of the Fireworks Cannon, here's what you can expect, keeping in mind I have no perks on this character, so these are the vanilla stats. You have a damage of 86, it shoots the firework rockets, which can be crafted at the chemistry station, has a fire rate of 20, a range of 203, an accuracy of 62, a weight of 7 pounds, and a value of 100 caps. And most certainly one of the coolest parts of this mod is the customization options, because you can turn this thing into a multitude of different fireworks / missile launching devices. So, as you can see, I've made a few already, and they all look very different and even have some different ammo types from each other. So let's go ahead and see what exactly we can do with this thing. First, you have your style, which you have the Militia, which is the standard green and olive drab sort of color scheme. The Patriot gives you the red, white, and blue. Custom Paint Camo, and Custom Paint Tiger all give you patterns. And then if you select one of these, there's actually color options later, and we'll look at that in just a second. And then finally, you have the Edgelord, which is black and red, and it glows. So that's pretty cool. For the barrel, we have none, bladed large, both of which will increase your melee damage. The clown compensator, which we'll get into in a little bit. The regular compensator, and the shield, which actually gives you some damage resistance while this weapon is equipped. And it looks really cool on the front of this thing. For your stock, you have none, crude, and padded. For the magazine, this is where it actually changes how your weapon functions. We have the large rocket pack, which fires the single rocket that we saw earlier. The large cluster pack, which will fire 7 of those rockets simultaneously in one big burst. Then we have the large cluster pack Patriot, which is the exact same thing, but with a red, white, and blue trail. The mini rocket pack shoves 49 of those miniature rockets, and they can be fired fully automatic. So you hold down the trigger, and a bunch of these little tiny missiles with very small explosions will head towards the enemy. The mini cluster pack still loads 49 missiles, except it'll be 7 packs of 7. So you'll fire 7 rounds simultaneously, and then you can do that 7 times total. And then finally, the Seeker rocket pack has 7 large rockets crammed together that fire all at once again, except this time they will lock onto an enemy. For the sights, we have the option for no sights, a medium scope, or a reflex scope. For the rear mod, you have the option to add a support cage, which will increase your reload time. And then finally, we have the palette index, and that's where we change the colors. So let's go ahead and equip one of these paint jobs. Let's just grab the camouflage, and then we head to the palette index. And these colors will be the same for each pattern, so we'll only show it once. And then as you scroll down, it will just change the color. So here we have a blue, a brown, some yellow, some brown and green, sort of a nice camouflage color, the red and white, brighter red and white, green, blue and yellow, sort of an autumn color scheme, blue and orange, red, green, and gray, purple and green, pink, white, and blue, pink and cyan, another sort of autumn fall color scheme, some blue, bright red, orange, and white, a nice urban camouflage, red and blue, dark green, yellow and gray and red, some green and yellow. Some of these get more vibrant. And the list goes on until we get to the end here. So there you go. That's a look at all of the camouflages. And then, really quick, we'll talk about that clown extension. So if we add the clown, we can go ahead and add a new type of ammo, which is clown rockets, which we'll show off right now as we show all of the different ammo types and how they function in real time. Alright, so now we have some raiders who are going to help us test out some of these new ammo types. So for starters, we have our standard Firework Launcher, and let's see how this thing performs. There we go. Not an overwhelming amount of damage, but it can cripple a raider. Has a kind of wild fire pattern, so that can be hard to control in a combat situation, but overall it fires pretty straight towards the end. So that was the regular large rocket. Now let's take a look at a large rocket cluster and see how much damage this thing can do. This is 7 rockets firing at once. So you can see they're not too happy about it. And that could easily take out a small group of raiders, no problem. Moving on, we have the Patriot, which is the cluster like we just saw, except with a nice red, white, and blue trail. Pretty cool. That one's mostly aesthetics, but I like it nonetheless. Moving on, now we have the mini rockets, which are different. Smaller, way less damage, a different sound when they hit the enemy, and this one happens to fire fully automatic and has 49 ammo capacity. Now this one is definitely the definition of a firework launcher because, as you saw, it doesn't do a whole lot to the bad guys. It's very inaccurate, has a very low damage threshold, and just kind of hard to use in general. Up next, we have the same type of rocket with the mini, but it is now a mini cluster. So instead, they are in groups of 7, shooting 7 groups total. Let's see how they fare. This thing functions more like a shotgun than a missile launcher, but it's still pretty fun and neat to use. Definitely a different style of weapon. Now we are moving on to some of the more unique variants. Here is the Seeker. So we can go ahead and let's grab somebody on the end there and fire the rocket upwards, and it happily guides straight to them. This is definitely one of the more usable variants of the weapon, since the rockets will actually go on course and hit the target a lot more reliably. Pretty cool one. I like it a lot. And then finally we have the Clown Barrel, which functions pretty much like a regular missile, except, well, I'll let it speak for itself. Fires pretty straight, nice big explosion, and a rainbow trail, and of course the clown laugh, so that is that. So, if you really want to strike fear into the hearts of your enemies, this is definitely one you could take out into the wasteland. And really quick before we move on, one thing I forgot to mention is how you actually obtain this thing. It is not added to the leveled list as far as I can tell. Instead, you will have to craft it at the chemistry station along with all of the ammos that are available that can be converted from regular missiles. So, that's how you get it. Have fun, and this one is actually available for PC and Xbox, so just about everybody can enjoy this one. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to try out this mod for yourself, it will be linked in the description for both platforms as always. And go support the mod authors. They are the reason that Fallout 4 just keeps getting better even this late in its life cycle. So we really owe it to them every time we launch this game in a modded state. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe, all that stuff that gets us into the algorithm and gets more mod recommendations to the people that are looking for them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace!